Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Joe. Joe is the English short form of Joseph. Joseph is the anglicized form of the Hebrew name Yosef, which translates to God shall add another son. This is a fitting translation, as Joseph was the 11th son of Israel's, née Jacob, from the book of Genesis. Joseph was Israel's most favored son, that he made him a robe of many colors, because he was the son of his old age, Genesis 37 verse 3. This inspired jealousy from Joseph's brothers, who eventually sold him into slavery to Egypt. Joseph rose to become chief steward to Pharaoh in Egypt and was eventually reconciled with his brothers when they came to buy corn from him during a 7-year famine. In the New Testament, Joseph is the name of the husband of the Virgin Mary, who essentially becomes Jesus' foster father. Lastly, the name is born in the Bible by a rich Jew who took Jesus down from the cross and buried him. According to medieval legend, this Joseph of Arimathea, brought the Holy Grail to Britain. Joe, like Joey, is a pet form of this long-enduring favorite male name, but has been used as an independently given name in its own right for well over 100 years. Personality of the boy named Joe. The 3 energy is powerful and enthusiastic. These personalities are cheerful, full of self-expression, and often quite emotional. They have an artistic flair and gift of gab that makes them natural entertainers. Their joyfulness bubbles over, and their infectious exuberance draws a crowd. The 3 personality is like a child, forever young and full of delight. They are charming, witty, and generally happy people. The 3 personality lives in the now and has a spontaneous nature. 3 seem to live with a bright and seemingly unbreakable aura that attracts others to them. In turn, they are deeply loyal and loving to their friends and family. Luck also has a tendency to favor number 3s. Popularity of the boy named Joe. The name Joe dates back to the late 19th century America, which is when the U.S. government first began tracking naming trends. In fact, in 1880, Joe was the 20th most popular boy's name in America. Joseph was number 7. For almost 100 years, up until 1971, the name averaged around number 40 on the charts in terms of favorability. He was no average Joe, but he was a fairly ordinary Joe. It's more common for American parents to use no-nonsense, get-to-the-point nicknames as given names than other English-speaking nations. We believe the traditional name, i.e., in this case, Joseph, is the better choice for a birth name as it provides more flexibility later in life. It doesn't mean you can't still call your son Joe or Joey for that matter. Either way, Joe is a strong, one-syllable classic that goes with almost any conceivable surname. There's no doubt about it, Joe is cool. It's also the name of several famous sports heroes: Joe Louis, Joe Frazier, Joe DiMaggio, Joe Namath, and Joe Montana. Joe is as all-American as baseball and apple pie. He's our everyman. Quick facts on Joe. Gender, boy. Origin, English. Number of syllables, 1. Ranking popularity, 556. Pronunciation, Joe. Simple meaning, God shall add another son. Characteristics of Joe. Optimistic, social, communicative, dramatic, happy, creative, popular. Cultural references to the baby name, Joe. Literary characters of the baby name Joe. Joe Harper is Tom Sawyer's bosom friend in Mark Twain's 1876 classic, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Joe is a typical young boy of the rural South of the 1840s. He and Tom share a united goal: to have adventures, and they are mighty successful at it. Feeling underappreciated and chore-ridden, the boys run away, with Huck Finn, to become pirates on a nearby island. Their illegal fun consists of swimming, rafting, fishing, and exploring. With their grief-stricken families preparing for their funerals, Joe and the boys return home to great rejoicing. Joe Harper's family background appears to be a little more conventional than Tom's, and certainly than Huck's. And Joe eventually fades into the background of the tale, as Huck takes a more active role. Twain acknowledged that Joe Harper was based upon a schoolroom friend of his, John Briggs, and he is affectionately given the moniker Terror of the Seas by a fond Twain. Joe Starks is a main character in Zora Neale Hurston's 1937 novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God. Joe is a stylish, charismatic, single-minded, and ambitious young black man who wants to make a mark on his world. This he does, initially, by becoming mayor of his town, as well as postmaster, property owner, and storekeeper. He marries Janie not so much out of love, but rather because he believes she complements his worldview of himself and his place in that world. This self-absorbed willfulness of his only serves to work against him, as Janie struggles and rebels under his dominance. In a public berating, Janie accuses him of cruelty and impotence, leading to Joe brutally beating her. With his authority thus undermined, and having acted so basely, Joe loses the will to live. True to himself to the end, however, Joe dies cursing Janie. He is nothing if not consistent. In our opinion, Hurston has saddled poor Joe with the intolerable task of representing the kind of injustice doled out by one race against another. Anyway, Janie has the last word. She wins. Joe Gargery is Pip's brother-in-law in Charles Dickens' 1860-61 classic, Great Expectations, and there is scarcely as fine and kind a character in all of English literature. Joe's background is even more lowly than Pip's. As a young boy he had to eschew schooling in order to support his family. He is an uneducated blacksmith, but his heart and his instincts are as true as gold. He provides a bulwark for young Pip throughout many of the boy's harrowing experiences, and is even more family to him than Pip's own sister, Joe's wife. He instills in Pip a sense of his own worth, and the notion that all men are, after all, created equal. Circumstances may be different, but the basics are the same, and one must strive mightily to be one's own man. Naturally, as Pip's life goes along its own extraordinary path, he tends to forget Joe and his valuable life lessons temporarily. Naturally, all is resolved in the end, and Joe's strong and gentle nature is fully appreciated by a most grateful Pip. Joe is a novel written by Larry Brown. Nearing 50, Joe Ransom won't slow down, not in his pickup, not with a gun, and certainly not with women. But all the fast living in Mississippi won't fill the hunger Joe can't name. At 15, Gary Jones is already slipping through the cracks. Part of a hopeless, homeless wandering family, he's desperate for a way out. He finds it in Joe. Together, they follow a twisting map to redemption or ruin. An understated, powerful, beautiful evocation of a place, a time, and a people. Popular songs on Joe. Harry and Joe, a song by Van Morrison, a song by the Cranberries, Holy Joe, Guilty Mix, That's Killer Joe, a song by Frank Sinatra, Joe Bean, Joe Harper, Saturday Morning, a song by Kinky Friedman, a song by the Byrds, a song by Don Williams, a song by Jethro Tull, Come On Joe, a song by Blondie, a song by Brian Ferry, a song by Stonewall Jackson, Natural Joe, Daryl and Joe, Crush Groove 3, a song by Clay Walker, Hey Joe, a song by Manhattan Transfer, Who's Joe, a song by Porter Wagoner, Surfer Joe, and Mother. Sleaze, Psycho Joe, a song by Kim Wilde, a song by U2, a song by Neil Young, a song by The Equals, Don't Cry, Joe, a song by Blues Traveler, Harold and Joe, Joe the Lion, a song by Cyndi Lauper, a song by John Denver, Walk Away Joe, Hello Joe, Resurrection Joe, Say It's Alright Joe, Waitin' on Joe, Harold and Joe, Hey Joe, Where You Gonna Go, a song by George Clinton, a song by New Order, a song by Steve Azar, a song by Dolly Parton, a song by Jimi Hendrix, Diamond Joe, Ballad of Cleo and Joe, Hank and Joe and Me, a song by Bette Midler, Smokey Joe, Ivan Meets G.I. Joe, a song by Tori Amos, Joe, a song by George Strait, Sleepy Joe, a song by Primus, a song by Genesis, a song by Johnny Cash, Skid Row Joe, a song by Trisha Yearwood, Little Guy Called Joe, a song by The Clash, a song by Run-D.M.C, Backstreet Joe, a song by Widespread Panic, Just Call Me Joe, Tokyo Joe, a song by Fountains of Wayne, Hank and Joe and Me, a song by Herman's Hermits, Working John, Working Joe, A song by David Bowie. Riley. Joe, Gypsy, Joe and Me, Joe Ray, Old Joe, Cool Joe, is a song by Hometown Hero. Average Joe, Happiness is a thing called Joe, Lookout Joe, Diva Bobby Joe, a song by Sinead O'Connor, Marilyn and Joe, Joseph and Joe, a song by The Cure, a song by Harry Belafonte, Hold 'em Joe. Famous people named Joe. Joe Montana, football player, Joe DiMaggio, baseball player, Joe Walsh, football coach, Joe Pesci, actor, Joe Morgan, baseball player, Mean Joe Green. Football player, Joe Nuxhall, baseball player, Joe Williams, singer, Joe Namath, football player, Joe Lewis, boxer, Joe Piscopo, comic, Joe Wharton, playwright, Joe Paterno, football coach, Joe Frazier, boxer, Joe Strummer, musician, Joe Jonas, musician. Children of famous people named Joe. Kate Winslet.